and welcome to Sonic Touch. This is the new title for the show, this lovely, well, still rather utilitarian lower third, and we'll probably change the title sequence, but we want to say thank you very much to everybody for the comments and helping us name the show. This is my co-host, Gaz Williams.
Hello, and thanks, yes, to everybody for their comments. It's really great to get those, and we're going to take them very seriously and take on board what everyone's saying.
Yeah, lots of great input there. In fact, if I switch to the webpage, you can see Mark the Dark left the comments in the last episode, and he also said, soon we'll probably be seeing people referring to themselves as touch jockeys or TJs. On that, I second the suggestion to include other touch platforms, such as Android, and suggest the name Sonic Touch. So, thank you very much, Mark the Dark, for the suggestion there, and we'll take that and run with it, I think.
Yeah.
So the big news is that Korg have just literally yesterday updated their iKaossilator to version 2, which makes it iPad friendly. So Gaz, what is the iKaossilator? Can you tell us?
Well, the iKaossilator is like a software version of a hardware unit that Korg has been marketing for the past few years. And the interesting thing with the software version is it actually expands on the Kaossilator idea. So what the Kaossilator is it's like a kind of, it's a music sequencer. You can't put your own sounds in there, so you're kind of limited to some degree by what's already in there. But the interface is so simple and it's so intuitive to use that you can make tunes very, very fast. So if we have a little look at the screen now, we'll have a little tour around what's on the screen. So the main feature is this square here where all the action goes on.
So it's the same sort of touchpad kind of thing.
That's right, yeah. And there's 5 channels which initially are set up like bass, drums, sound effects, chords, and lead, but each one can be anything. So you could, if you want, have 5 drums. You know, so it's fairly flexible like that. So
if I can just cut in there, this is the. It doesn't process external audio, it's just kind of loop-based, is that right?
Well, yeah, it's all the sounds are inside it. So you don't process extra sounds, you just use the sounds which are built into it. But if we were to look here, for instance, there's lots and lots of sounds. They're all color coordinated, yellow being lead, orange being acoustic, blue being bass, pink chords.
Are they the same sound set as you got on the original Kaossilator?
I think some are, but I think that these are quite improved in many ways. So what you do is, you know, you choose your sound, and then on the screen then, if I move across the x-axis, we can hear the pitch changing. If I move across the y-axis, we can hear the sort of the tone of the sound changing. So, you know, you can.
So they're all going to vary, sort of, you know, as on the original, the
yes.
X and the Y just depends on how the sound's set up.
Yeah. So it's all preset, but as you explore the different sounds, they do different things, and it's quite good fun exploring the sounds. So, you know, so I can step through there, then bass, chords, sort of sound effects, and then drums. And then the way it works is, you know, you can set a tempo. I could just tap a tempo in. Like say 127 BPM there, and then I can set the key as well. So let's say we could say D Dorian. So now as I move across here, we can hear the sound is kind of mapping to that scale in D Dorian. So it's quite cool. It means you don't have to, you know, because obviously there's no marks on there to know where the notes are. So I think it's trying
I mean, it's a much bigger pad than the original, so you've got a lot more kind of accuracy, I guess,
you
do.
It's a little hard to kind of play specific melodies, but it's a lot easier than it was on the original Kaossilator. But I think part of the thing about the Kaossilator is it is just like almost like random sort of fun that you have with it. So it's very appealing to people who maybe don't have the musical sort of knowledge, you know, to know what the notes are. So I suppose these scales are all a little bit abstract, but I guess it shouldn't sort of you know, stop people from exploring what those kind of scales are. So I mean, you know, there are all your kind of standard Western scales, but if you want to, you know, you can go and play sort of like some Indian scales or Japanese scales, and you know, so have a little bit of fun.
Why ever not?
Why ever not, indeed. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some drums in. I'll put it into record, and it'll start recording as soon as I touch the screen. You can see how the red blob is tracking my finger.
Yeah.
bass line down. Okay, so I've filled up all my loops now. So with it still in record, I can just jump to any of the things and just modify the parts a little bit, you know. And instantly it'll start recording. But this is really cool, and this is a new feature of the iOS version of the iKaossilator. If I hit this here now and I click save, without stopping the playback, I've actually saved that strip of all those loops into this page here. And this is a little bit like Ableton Live now. So Untitled 1, that's the loop I've just created. Like I can now go to drums from a different take, and here's some I've made earlier, but I can look and here's some presets here. So I can say, let's take some dubstep drums.
Wow.
And then so you can like mix and match these different parts.
Wait a minute, that's awesome. I mean, that massively expands the whole kind of capability of what we're talking about here.
Well,
right?
it does, because you can start building up a song. Like, so if I jump to a song that I created earlier, so here's the part. Now I can jump to another part, and if you look, it'll flash until it's time to change. So they'll quantize, and then I can just mix and match the parts from there. And here is...
That's really impressive, actually, because that changes the whole thing.
That's cool. And
just stop it a sec. Let's just...
Yeah.
So this is a whole new area of functionality that kind of makes...
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and what can you do with the stuff once you've actually created those things? I mean, is there something that you can do with that afterwards?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what version 2 brings in, which I think is the exciting thing. In the previous version 1, you could make your tunes up, but that was it. You'd have to plug the headphone output into something and record it. But now you can do that from within. So if we were to look in our options here, we can go live recording. So if I turn live recording on, a record button appears on the top.
All right.
So now, if I hit that record button and go to our loop list here, and then if I start it, let's just go there to set the... Here we go. So we're in record now. So it's like I can build a song up on the fly. Just changing individual elements, and then let's change the whole loop. Just for fun, let's jump to the loop I just made that won't go at all. But this little thing allows you to sort of mute and solo, so I could just solo up.
Oh, so up is solo and down
up is solo, down is mute, and I can do it multi-touch as well.
So hold on, could you envisage actually running a set off this?
Well, yes, and you know, and also, you know, you could record a whole song into it, couldn't you?
Wow,
so,
that's really cool.
Okay, so I press stop of the recording, and now it's given me the option to upload to SoundCloud. So if I had logged into SoundCloud, I could just single click there and it'd upload to my SoundCloud account, so share it with everybody on the internet. Save on sharing folder, which would mean that I could get it from iTunes then, so I can grab it into my computer. Or audio copy, where if I click that, which I'll do now, that'll put it to the clipboard within the iPad, so I could open up another app, for instance Loopy, and then bring the recording in, and then if I wanted it over to maybe guitar or vocals, something.
Okay, so you can get the audio out of this thing, and what about getting it in? So and you can get it to your computer and use it as the basis. What format does it record in? Do you know?
I think it's WAV.
Okay.
I think it's WAV. Yeah. In fact, if I look here now, yeah, export.wav there. And also, whilst we're in this mode here, if we look through the options, we can see this WHIST.
So tell me, what is this WHIST thing?
Okay, well, WHIST is something, I think it's a Korg technology. It's very simple, actually, but it just basically stands for wireless stop-start.
Right. Okay. So that's the thing which enables you to synchronize multiple devices.
Yes. So and it's not just restricted to Korg products. So a number of different apps use this WHIST idea. And basically, what it means is that let's say, for instance, with your iPad and my iPad, if we want to sort of like jam together with these things which are very dependent on rhythms and sort of and quantization and keeping it tight, then it locks the start and stop.
I tell you what, let's try it, shall we?
I think that's the best thing to
So I'm just going to launch IMS20 on my iPad here, which is plugged into the I/O dock.
IMS20 is a fantastic analog synthesizer, really well.
Yeah, it was one of the first, wasn't it, that really kind of showed off the iPad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm there's mine. So now there it is. So now I go to global settings. There we go, global settings, and we're going to WHIST. Now WHIST is needs to be on. I switch it on. So there we go. We're looking for other iPads. If you go to yours, you'll do the same thing there. Switch the WHIST on in yours.
Yep.
So you're looking for iPads right now. You've shown up in mine. I've shown up in yours. So now what's happening there is
I've chose to connect.
You've chosen to connect. So that means you are now connected to me. And actually, what that means is you're the slave and I'm the master, which I think is by far the best arrangement. Right. So now, if I press go on mine, that means that's recording, and yours is it's playing. Yours is also playing, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So essentially, when we started these two things together, they're in perfect sync, and now I can demonstrate that because they sound so perfectly matched. It's almost impossible to tell. So if I now switch off the IMS20, that's your loop going there.
That's right.
There it is. And then I switch the IMS20 in. That's only the IMS20, and now both together. So yeah, if I press stop now.
Yep.
So now it's all stopped.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, it's all getting a bit confusing with the switching. So basically, we can synchronize these two devices, and anything that supports WHIST, this will be happening at the same time. Can we do it with more than one device?
No, I don't think so. I think it's only just a single master and slave situation. I don't think you'd have multiple slaves. Not.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? It would be great if you could actually have lots and lots of devices all connected.
Yeah.
But I mean, the other thing is Bluetooth was a little bit flaky, wasn't it? I mean, it was quite slow and it wasn't always absolutely spot on. So that was a little bit of a problem. I mean, but on the whole, pretty cool. And it's absolutely rock solid when it does sync, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. So, you know, the creative potential of just being able to sort of play together and staying in sync is quite exciting, you know. I should mention there that the tempo was governed by the master. So the tempo initially was displaying something different on my translator.
Okay, so
So yeah, so that's, and again, if I was to start, I would be able to start it, but it doesn't start yours. So, you know, that's the...
It's a one-way thing.
Yeah. And the WHIST, as I mentioned earlier, which is wireless synchronized sync technology, is also supported by other apps. It's not strictly supported by Korg, just alone. So there was a fantastic update to one of the best synthesizers available on the iPad, which is Addictive Synth. And the new update has brought in, not only has it brought in the background audio option, which allows it to be controlled by other controller software, it also brings in WHIST as well. So same thing, I can click WHIST and then that would synchronize the clock of Addictive Synth to the other WHIST devices. So one of the nicest functions of Addictive Synth is it's got a really, really good arpeggiator.
So you could actually sync that whole thing to, say, the IMS20 or the iKaossilator on another device as well.
Yeah, and Addictive Synth is a really good synth because it's an additive synth. So that's that gives you kind of really a different palette of sounds to work with.
Let's have a blast.
Change the waveform.
Cool. So that Viasynth update has just come out, right?
Yes, it has. Yeah, it's been out about a week or so, and also it's introduced a loop function in Addictive Synth, which allows you to do 4 tracks of loop-based recording internally. and that's a really nice function. So a good update for Addictive Synth, which is already a very, very strong synth, has got better.
Excellent. So I hope you've enjoyed that particular aspect of the iKaossilator. iKaossilator is available now. I think it's on a special offer. It's about half price. It's $6.99 UK, $9.99 US, and that's till the 31st of December. After which it goes up to double at $19.99, and I'm guessing $14.99. I'm not entirely sure, but it costs a lot more basically. So I hope you've enjoyed that little demonstration. That was episode 1, I suppose, of what is now Sonic Touch from sonicstate.com.
Yes.
I'm Nick Batt, editor of Sonic State, and this is Gaz Williams, songsurgeon.co.uk. Thank you very much.
Thank you.